Hello, everybody. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And once again, I brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. And please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And once again, let me bring on this guy.
Yo, what's up, Streamland? I am JD Rosario from Unstoppable Comics. Been making comic books since 2008. Still dealing with the New York Comic Con hangover. I haven't readdressed anything back here from having to move everything out because we brought it all, the kitchen sink and to the convention. And I'm still just like too tired, man, to get things back together since then.
All right. Well, you're here. That's all that matters. And
okay,
we're gonna do something a little different today.
What are we gonna do different?
We're gonna do something a little different today. We're gonna bring in this guy. What's up, Larry?
What? I have to unmute myself. That's a little different.
There you go. Unmute yourself. Larry, introduce yourself real quick.
I'm the guy with the pigtails, man. That's what I am. I do the book called Niobe and Savage Sin, and we're currently crowdfunding Niobe Penguina #1. It's a crossover with Antarctic Press founder, creator Ninja High School, Mr. Ben Dunn.
Nice.
All right, cool. So we're doing something a little different. What we're gonna do is we got Larry's campaign up, and Larry's gonna talk about his campaign, and we're gonna run through a couple other campaigns, and then I'm gonna bring everybody in, and we're gonna talk about the stuff.
So the Larry, stuff, man. You ever see that movie, The Stuff, from the 80s? The white goo in a can. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it was a poor ripoff of The Blob.
The Blob, man. Yep. No blobs in this book, though, but there is a powerhouse named Madonna, who is our new villain on the block, if you will. Oh. And Niobe and Penguina sort of got to come together and deal with her and some other issues that are running rampant in the city right now. So Penguina is basically the mascot of Antarctic Press. It was created by Ben Dunn to be a mascot. And then people started doing fan art of her and things of that nature. So it, got Ben's motor rolling in the sense of, I'm going to do comics on her. And then Ben created what was called the Superverse. And that's a whole hour-long talk to go over what the Superverse is. But basically, it's a giant sandbox where you can come in and, network with other creators and, bring your characters together, if you so wish. And so Niobe Penguina is the first crossover of that nature, where we're utilizing the Superverse and making something happen. So while I grab Penguina from Ben Dunn and throw her into Niobe's world, Ben Dunn also gets the same liberty, right? He gets to take Niobe and do a book with Niobe in it with his characters. And he's doing such, right? It looks really cool. It's completely different, right? So, Ben Dunn has that wacky cartoon style Saturday morning vibe with Ninja High School, and there's giant robots and aliens and Professor Steamhead and all this crazy wacky stuff. Where Niobe is more like more of a serious tone, like you would say in X-Men or The Boys or something, right?
Okay.
Try to have a more, slightly, superhero, so it's not realistic by any stretch of the mean, but hopefully a slightly darker, realistic approach to what we're doing, And so it's a 2-part miniseries. The first book is 30 pages long, fully colored, of course. Anyone who does back the book gets Niobe Penguina #1 from Ben Dunn digitally for free. So at least you get to, check it out and peruse that. So if you never heard of Penguina before, that's a way to sort of get introduced into the character. Mind you, our version's a little different. We made Penny, a street level character, basically. She's not, running around in a penguin suit or anything like Ben has her, Like her whole story is she's like a Twitch streamer that happens to be a genome, which are mutants in my world. Her power is she can mimic anyone else's power so long as she's within a certain range of them. That's what she can do. And there's Savage Sin. That's the other property we got going on. That's a 3-part miniseries. Everyone can, add that on. They want to check it out. There's Mr. Miyagi right there, man. Mr. Yeah, I had taken a picture of him at a con, right? And it was like him sitting behind a desk and smiling at the camera. It was a nice picture of Ben. Like, I think I'm going to use this. So I threw it up on the campaign, and Ben was on stream with us. And he's like, "Oh, I really don't like that picture. I'm going to give you another one, okay?" I'm like, okay, shoot me whatever you got. And that's what he gives me.
Rock on, baby.
That's very nice, right?
You know what I mean?
He looks happy. That's all that matters.
That's it, brother. You know, it's wild, right?
Yeah.
So the work is done by Aurora Garcia. He's done a lot of work with Zenoscope Comics. Colors are by Federico. They're a great team. We have lots of nice variant covers and add-ons to sort of pick and choose from. Right now, we're almost 10 grand Canadian, which I think on your screen it's like 6 grand and change US. You know, in order for this project to even break even, and I'm sure this will be a discussion on one of your shows down the road, is like just the cost and the expenses of making comics, right? Like we need to do 10 grand Canadian to give me back the 6 grand I spent to make the book, and the other 4 grand to print and ship it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Unfortunately, we do.
Outside of that, you know, then it's a loss, right? So this is it, you know. So you know, we're doing okay. Like we're getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna definitely make it, man. You got 10 days. I mean, you'll probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you'll make at least 10 American, at least.
Yeah, I think I'll 12. Peter out at like 12 or 13 Canadian. So that'll probably be in or around your guess. Yeah. So, which would be great.
Where is it at right now? 6,900. Okay.
Yep. No, that's cool.
And it's got 10 days left, and we know like the last few days are usually a nice boost for a Kickstarter. You know, the bump, right? The last bump. You know. So, you know, we're counting on a last bump. I mean, we've been funded for a while. It's just, you know, there's always like what you put as the goal, and then there's actually, you know, the goal. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
This is it. But I appreciate you let me just come on and invade the show for a few minutes and talk about that.
Listen, you know what it is? We got to schedule these a little bit better, because I know you launched, and I was like, and I already had a bunch of shows already booked up, and I was like, shit.
Well, I just tried to steal Pete's spot, but Max had beat me to it, you know?
Yeah. Pete, God bless him. He's in the hospital.
Hope he's feeling better.
Yeah, he has an infection. We were talking to him, you know, like off air in the chat. You know, he feels bad that he can't be on the show, obviously, right? And he hopes everyone understands. And he got really sick from basically New York Comic Con is what happened, you know.
Yeah, I mean that'll happen. But
that scares me, because he was just a few, I was gonna say blocks. He was just a few
tables
away from me.
Yeah. You know, I mean, a lot of people came down with COVID, and a lot of people just sort of had the con crud. In Pete's case, you know, it's some sort of infection. So, you know, I don't know.
Because I know Sam Quinton.
Yeah.
I know he has a con crud bad.
Yeah, he's actually coming off of his though. Like now we can actually understand Sam when he speaks. We had him on stream. Like, he said, I'm talking like this, and I said, "Dude, you're like off a doorstep, bro. Like, go rest." You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be.
And that's another thing that scares me. I was walking around the convention with Sam one morning. You know,
what was it like to meet those guys? By the way, in person, you know,
what was it like for them to meet me?
All right.
Come on, man. No, cool. You know what? I didn't meet Pete in person. I met Sam in person, and you know, before the convention doors opened up, we got to you know, shoot the shit, walk around, meet a few people. Bumped into some cool cats. Henri. I hope some people are familiar with Henri Kaufman. George Medina. A few other people, and we got to talk shop. You know, and that's what conventions I think are about, you know, because we can meet online, but there's nothing that compares to just like meeting up with somebody in person and just like shooting the shit for a few minutes, man.
Do you think my last question to you guys, sort of thing, do you think because of what happened at New York Comic Con this year, when you go back next year, is it going to be more restrictive? Is it going to be, you know, do you think there'll be some mandates in place now? Do you think this has maybe shaken the con world a little bit? Like, oh shit, man. Like,
no, I don't think it is.
No, it's literally concrete, because people have been tested. It's not COVID. It's just
because my wife came down with it also, and it knocked her out for a day. But you know, she did tests. We did the flu test. We did the COVID test. It was none of that, but it was enough to knock the shit out of her, man.
Right? Yeah.
Now we're pulling up. This is Tyler Carpenter's campaign. Now look, this is something I've been meaning to do. is like pull up other people's campaigns. It's just I get into the show and I start talking. We start talking and I forget about everybody. So, but this is Tyler Carpenter, friend of the show. Cthulhu Murders. He got another 5 days at $3,300. Mm-hmm. It's Cthulhu Mystery, and that's all I'm going to say about it because it's Tyler's and he's not here. But it looks cool, and he's a good friend of the show, and I would definitely say check it out if you like Cthulhu. If you like murder mysteries, I would definitely go check.
Well, I'll tell you this about the book. There's also while you're doing the book, there are options to choose a different path as you read, almost like a choose your adventure book. Mm-hmm. Or you can read it straight through. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to be able to get enjoyment from it. But there is that extra added element of fun that comes with the Cthulhu Murders. So you got to, it's a mystery. You got to figure, you got to figure this out, right? Like,
who done it?
Who done it?
Well, I think the answer is Cthulhu, but but you get what I mean. It's a Cthulhu story, but Tyler is a different cat, right? So he's done a different sort of Cthulhu story. And I think it's really interesting. Tyler's a guy who's not afraid to experiment with different genres of storytelling, right? The Cthulhu Murders is a completely different beast than, say, Girl with the Mega Fist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And Tyler's very well diverse in that. If you're scrolling through his different works right there. It just shows you. And all those projects. The majority of them, like My Sexy Witch Academia, the Super Plumber Sisters, the Girl with the Mega Fist, all three of those books. Pretty successful for the first runs on Kickstarter. We're talking 5 figures plus, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Tyler knows what he's doing, man. I mean, there's no denying it. And good on him that he's willing to experiment. That's the one thing I really like. Is the fact that he's experimenting.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes
Tyler's always looking for that next. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So, Larry.
Yes, sir.
It was good seeing you, brother.
Thanks. All right, Larry. Have a good one, brother.
All right,
take care, brother.
I'll be in the chat.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Take care. Dude. Max.
What's up? Max. What up, dude?
Max.
What's going on?
He was dogging you out earlier, so I had to replace you. I had to replace him with you.
Yep.
So, Max, what do we got?
This is the pre-launch page for Human Hunters #4. It is the origin story of how Freya joins the Human Hunters group. She is at 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts. She gets arrested for witchcraft, and then we show a whole bunch of the tortures that they did to these women, and we didn't pull any punches. So it's one of the most, and it is there's a lot of nudity and a lot of just torture.
Nice.
So
this is pretty much Saw in the
Middle Ages. Yep, in the Middle Ages, 1600s or whatever. I guess that'd be the
I don't know. I just saw this maybe 20 minutes before I started the show with you guys, but I noticed there's a tag on my Kickstarter called Witchfinder.
Yeah,
because it's Halloween stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Are you guys aware of that? How do you lock that tag into your campaign, Max?
Well, we were gonna do it, but we actually we couldn't launch this book for like almost 2 weeks before we wanted. We wanted to launch it 2 weeks ago, but we couldn't because of the way Kickstarter was dealing with it, and the approval process was taking just forever.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we finally got everything approved, and now we're just like, okay, we'll launch it the day before Halloween, so we're going to launch it tomorrow.
Okay.
At like 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time. So if you want to be notified when it launches, just drop by the link and pick up notify me on launch, and then it'll send you an email when the book goes live, and you can jump over and back it.
There you go.
We've got all sorts of cool shit with it. Let me see if I got any pages so we can. Oh, I know what I could do. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh.
I can share the preview of the Kickstarter. It's not totally done, but I can do that.
Take that.
So this is the fourth issue.
Yes.
Is it a limited series or is this ongoing?
So far it's ongoing, so we'll see. If it keeps selling, we'll keep making them.
Gotcha.
So this is the campaign.
Nice.
Here's
okay, cool beans. Good shit.
It starts out. She's been kidnapped by sex traffickers in the last book.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when she's in there and she's like, I never thought I'd be in this position again. And that's where we flash.
That's a rough life to have to say that sentence and have again attached to it.
Yep. Yeah. And then that's when we flash back to Salem town. And then she's walking along and some guy's picking up on her. His dad's the rich guy in town. And she's like, I don't want anything to do with you. And his buddies laugh at him and they've been laughing at him for months because he's been trying to pick up on her and she keeps telling him no. And then he goes and tells the minister that she's a witch.
Oh, there you go. That's what it comes down to. She doesn't want me. She's a witch, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting arrested for witchcraft, stands trial, and we're going to add a couple more graphic pages to the campaign, but we don't have them up yet. Cover A by Mateus Duarte.
Nice.
Cover B this is cover B by Mariah Benez.
Cool.
Cover C by Fabio Sameo.
Nice.
Cover D by Greg Bo Watson.
Cool.
And then cover E by Biker Bloke.
I kind of know that costume. I've seen that. I've seen that before. I think I know where it's from.
Then cover F is another one by Mateus. It's just a different thing. It's the more costume for Halloween of her as Emma Frost.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got our nude variants. There's one. There's Fabio's.
Cool.
And then there's Greg Bo Watson's. Then we've got our nude prints that we get with if you buy a nude book, you get the nude prints. These all come with those. And of course, we've got combo packs and all the add-ons you could think of under the sun. We've got the Atrocity Press 2024 calendar. So you get
I like
a nice little calendar with a whole bunch of really cool prints of our chicks. Definitely probably belongs in your garage.
Nice.
We've got these are the stretch goals. They're trading cards. We do it every time. So there's the characters from the book.
Do you always do rounded corners? Because I just got your package and all the trading cards are rounded corners. You always do
Yes, I always
that's
do rounded corners and 12-point card stock with just that way with printing on both sides. That way it's more like it's almost like a magic card.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I just think it looks a little bit more professional.
Okay.
And it's easier to handle without digging up the corners.
Yep. I just like poking people with the mini eyes. So.
Then our bookmark and then the poker chip.
Nice.
No products or illustrations are made by AI.
Cool.
Comic book is done and printing with Comics Wellspring.
Nice.
There you go.
So,
all right, cool. And that's launching what, tomorrow?
Yep, launches tomorrow.
Nice. All right, so everybody remember, check out the link. We'll put it in the show notes. or we'll put it in the chat. Go check it out. Go subscribe.
Hell yeah, subscribe.
What's up, Dojo?
Hey, Dojo.
All right. So, Max, I'm gonna pull you out real quick.
That's cool.
We're gonna run over Mr. Rosario's, and then we're gonna do mine real quick, and then we're gonna start the show. We're gonna talk about the stuff. But okay. But just give me a minute.
Oh,
there you go.
what? Little me. Look at that. We're about $7 away from. Actually, we were over. We had a drop pledge right now. So somebody pulled out, and we were over $1,000. But that's the nature of Kickstarter, right? People come and go all the time. So yeah, so this is for issues 1, 2, and 3. We're looking to raise the money to print up issue number 3 of New York versus the World, my zombie apocalypse set here in New York City. The idea behind it is 15 years after the zombie apocalypse, New York City had blown the bridges and flooded the tunnels, and now they're starting to let people into the city. But how are they going to deal with those who may potentially have the virus still within them, or weren't here to clean out the city the way they did? So every good zombie tale has I'm sorry, I saw Carlos say pull out, and then I started thinking something dirty thoughts.
Of course you did. Of course. Of course you did.
But yeah, so it's a zombie apocalypse set here in New York City because I got a big chip on my shoulder or a big pin, just like the one that's being shown up there on the screen, right? That could be added on to any reward pledge. We got a gift for all returning backers, so there'd be a holochrome card, added to any reward. And then we have just revealed the stretch goals. Why is the other one not up there? Some of them gone. So yeah, so
fixed tonight.
Yeah, there were two. There were two stretch goals already, and they are for trading cards to be added to the set, because we do trading cards with almost every reward, and that's what we're rolling with this, folks.
All right, cool. Very nice. Listen, it looks awesome. You know,
thank you.
It's gonna be another great book for me. Daphne, roll it over.
We got about 2 more weeks left. And Daphne, roll it over.
So this is a sign-up page for my campaign, the Oswald Chronicles: The Light That Attracts, 1 through 4. This will be going up hopefully in a week. I'm supposed to be getting my current batch of books from my printer this week, which I will be shipping out, and then the following week I'll be opening this one. So that's in the show notes. Go hit the notify button. I love you guys. Now, Daphne, please take that down. Let's start the show. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
No music. No music.
No music. No music.
All
right. Let's add this guy.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. What's up? Hey, Michael Lanning, independent artist, and other stuff. So, if you haven't
other
seen the
stuff. But where is your hat, Mike?
Oh, you're wearing it. That's what.
No, brother, come on, man.
I got rid of the hair so I don't have to wear a hat, JD.
Oh, brother. See, now I feel like I got to take mine off. You know what I mean? It's solidarity, bro. How you doing? How's the wife doing?
Oh, she's good. She's good.
She's all right? She's better?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, she's getting there.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay. Make it a little bit more uncomfortable for the man. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not trying. Making it uncomfortable would have been like, you should have kept your hair, man. You had a nice head of hair. You should have fucking shaved it off. That would have been making him feel uncomfortable. Damn it.
All right, I'm going back to
what. What's up, David? How you doing?
Hey, not doing so bad. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Please let everybody know who you are and where they can find you, sir.
I'm Dave Jaxon, comic book artist for Independence. I don't really have a DeviantArt or anything, but yeah, I'm on Facebook. I too have Kickstarters and stuff, but it's more like me getting hired to do stickers and stuff like that. So nothing of my own right now, but yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
All right, cool. Let's bring on this guy, Mr. Wilson Ramos. No, we can't hear you.
Muted.
I was like, oh, hello there. I was just cleaning out one of my cups. You know, people give away stuff at Comic Cons all the time. Just, you know, just walking by and you just get free stuff. It's wonderful.
It's kind of like the perfume at those department stores, right? No, I don't want to.
Yeah, pretty much. You walk through the, you know, I was walking through Macy's yesterday, and you have to walk through it like you're walking down Artist Alley. You can't make eye contact with anybody. You just got to get to your table as quickly as possible. If not, they start chucking comics at you. Anyway, hello. My name is Wilson Ramos. I'm a freelance comic book artist working full-time in comics, and next year will be my 30 years of working in comics. I don't know how to celebrate it other than maybe tears, but yeah. So you can find me all over the internet, either under Ramos Comics or Ramos Kaiju. And my self-publishing comic book company is called Section 8 Comics, but I freelance for just about anyone who has me, whether they like it or not.
Nice.
There you go. Nice. And we got this guy. What's up, Champe?
Oh my God! How are you doing? Wasn't paying attention.
Good thing you weren't doing anything bad there.
That's true. He's like, at least you're dressed.
At least I'm dressed now.
Oh, we're supposed to be
This time.
Hold on. No? Oh,
What? I can hear you.
I was going to start to strip.
Oh,
God, no.
Not that kind of podcast.
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm working right now. I'm totally dressed now.
All right.
All right, cool. All right. So, Champe, introduce yourself. Who are you? What have you done? Where are you?
Okay, I'm Champe Ramirez. I'm from Colombia, and I've been a professional colorist for the past 15 years, I guess so. And now I'm becoming part of the Unstoppable family. I've been, doing colors for various comic books, some animations actually, and fine. I'm living the awesome life you can have here working from Colombia to the States.
Okay, cool. And this guy was already here, and now he's actually here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Max DeVille, you can find me at atrocitypress.com. It's got all of our social media links. It's got all of our news for our stuff that's coming up. And it's got our shop to where you can buy all of our books digitally or physically that are currently available. So jump over there and find that out for yourself.
All right, cool. Now, guys, this show is special. I really wanted to do this show because this is a show just about artists. Now, Max is jumping in for Peat Vazquez. Pete, God bless him. Feel better. He's currently in the hospital, and he's going to recover. He'll be back. We'll do another one of these again in the future, and we'll get him in here.
Yeah.
But Max was kind enough to fill in. He's going to have a different perspective. He'll be from the publisher like myself and like Jay. But I really wanted to talk to the artists, because you guys are the hired guns of the business. You guys are the guys I barely talk to, because normally I have writers on, I have creators on. I have the guys who hire you guys to do stuff, right? So I always get their perspective, but we never get your perspective, right? So it's very important to me to get that perspective. Except for C. I talk to that guy all the time.
So you don't want my perspective. You get too much.
Lanning, don't let him bust your balls like that, Lanning. I'll take care of him. Don't worry about it.
Listen,
I'm loaded. I'm ready to go.
Listen, he's loaded.
He's
That's
loaded
what we're talking about, Daddy. Yeah.
I would bust your balls. You don't have any left, though.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Yeah, I know. And you do resemble that remark. All right. So listen, to start up with real simple question, right? Because this is a show primarily for some of us are old salty dogs of this. So this is for a newcomer. How should a brand new creator approach you, right? Like, how should they be like how should they phrase these questions? What should they be asking as far as your services, fees, and that sort of thing? How should they initially be coming to you? And what's the best way to approach you? Let's start with David.
Yeah, so me personally, if they already have the work done as in scripts and all that, that's obviously a bonus. It's much more difficult to start working with someone if they don't have character designs or anything, and if they're starting fresh, because you don't know how long they're going to take in the creative fields of any of that stuff. So it could take months or even years to do any of that, which I think a lot of writers and editors, when they first start start up. They don't realize that. So they'll approach me, and then a lot of time can pass, and then kind of just, falls to the wayside. So usually it's just have something concrete just out the gate. Obviously the artist can help you with like creating character designs and stuff, but at least have something written out, have all that stuff kind of workshopped a little bit before you address artists. Otherwise, and I know it sounds negative, but you won't really get taken seriously because, how many people approach us a day that are like, hey, I'm the next big thing. I have this great idea. And then 5-6 years later, haven't seen anything from that person. So definitely try to have that stuff, at bare minimum, have that right out the gate.
All right, cool. Wilson, what are your thoughts?
Well, for me, I'm at the point of my career where 9 times out of 10, when someone's approaching me, it's because I'm being referred by someone else. So I've been lucky that I have, in a way, other people filtered through before it gets to me. So usually I'll have either an editor or, in many cases, another independent creator contact me and say, hey, my friend is looking for X, Y, or Z, because I do either coloring, lettering, inking, or the digital pre-press. So I might be hired by somebody for one of those. Mostly it's lettering or digital pre-press. So 9 times out of 10 lately, my work has been people contacted me saying, hey, can this particular creator contact you? They would like to talk to you about their project. So there's that buffer already that some people will know, in a way, not to talk to me unless I kind of know there's money involved. I'm at that point in my career and that point in my life is that I cannot do favors or freebies for anyone anymore, because those projects either never get paid, never get done. And eventually working through it, after a while, you kind of know how to, because I still get people like on Instagram contact me and go, hey, would you help me with my book? And when you read that, you know exactly the words are help me. That means they have no money. And I usually contact them back and usually go right into my rates before I even say hello, because that's the quickest way to make someone stop bothering you, is by you tell them what your rates are. And my rates aren't outrageous. I've been in the industry long enough that, yes, I've told people my rates and they're like, how do you get that kind of money? So, well, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've already taken 3 pay cuts over my career through Marvel. So I know what Marvel's paying and I know what indie guys can pay. So I have a rate in between where I'll try to work with people. And then there are people that I've worked with so long that they're part of the family. So it's like, if JD calls me up for something, I know he pays. But I know that if he needs me to help him out with something, he knows not to call me. No,
you mean
but
I can't send you those 600 pages?
Well, you can send them. I don't know what you want me to do with them. But
I
again,
just need them colored and lettered and prepped, and and I have about I can take you out to lunch.
Okay, I've done that for people. But again, it's like one of those things where I've gotten to the point where you could kind of read between the lines whether or not the person who's contacted you either is serious or they just have dreams. They thought, why not make a comic book? And I'm all for that. You want to make a comic book, go ahead and do it. Now is the time to make comics compared to what it was 5 years ago or even before that. If you want to print out one single comic, you can. That's something that's easier to do. We're all from a time period where, oh, you want to make a comic book? Sure, the print run is going to be 5,000 comics the first time you try it.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm at that position where, again, most of my work is coming from referrals from people who have paid me in the past, have worked with me. And again, as I mentioned, most of the freelance work that I get nowadays is referrals and word of mouth. Not to say that I don't jump onto Facebook or different social medias to see when people are saying, hey, I need somebody for this. And if I'm feeling a little crazy, it's like, I could letter that, here's my rate, and then they have the ball from there because there's no more back and forth. It used to be like you have a full conversation with people and on Messenger, back and forth, and then when the rate is mentioned at the end, the conversation ended. So I could have saved that whole 20 minutes of, hey, how are you doing, kind of a thing. It's like, no, let's get right to it. I'm busy. Let's get right to the project, or we need to move on. So that's where I am now. Before, I used to just go on social media and go, I'm available, and everybody wants to talk to you and pick your brain. That's another one. When they say, can I pick your brain for something? They want you to tell them all the information so they can use that information somewhere else. So I learned to cut that out. Because that's the other thing about doing lunches. Because sometimes you'll be taken to lunch. You get a free lunch, but they're kind of interviewing you to get the right words to use it for the next guy.
Yeah, well, that's what this show is for.
Which is perfectly fine. I'm all for sharing the information. The more people that knows and can do it themselves, then they realize, oh, I really should have hired him. And then when they come back later, which some of them do, my rate goes up a little bit more. Because it's like, you should have hired me in the first place.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. Gotcha. All right. Champe, what are your thoughts on it? How should people approach you?
Man, I'm really easygoing, so I have no, guidelines for contacting me. Just come and be, first of all, respectful in all sense of the matter. Don't be that guy that doesn't have a plan. Like, I want you to do some comic book that is not going to go anywhere, or this character has no background. I mean, just as William was saying, don't be the guy that is trying to get somebody to help where you don't know where to go. Have a plan, but I think the other important thing would be not be respectful only to me, but the people that is I don't know the word in Spanish. The one that gave you my number or something.
Referral.
My referral, and be respectful with the persons I'm working currently now, because it has happened. I'm gonna put Jay as an example. It hasn't happened with him, but I'm now working with Jay, and you come to me and say like, "Hey, I have a better project than Unstoppable. I will offer you more money than Unstoppable." That tells me this guy is a really shitty person. You don't have to go around trash talking everyone in the pad, and don't try to hire me over the person, the people I'm working currently. Above all, then have a plan.
Champe, you don't have to.
That's what you said.
You don't have to talk about the conversation we had. Exactly. We don't have to talk about that. It's a private conversation, Champe. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I have a microphone under his desk.
Hold on. You know what? Let's clear it all up here. All right, Michael, David, Wilson. I'll pay you less than Calderon pays you for pages. All right, if that's
that makes you feel better. That makes you feel better.
I will definitely pay you less. What he's paying you, I will lowball it by at least 75%.
Oh wow!
No, but in all seriousness, don't do that. If you are
Tell me
trying
more.
Intriguing.
And also, I know that in the United States you have like some sort of fee referrals. Like you are an indie comic or a low budget, then you have like we always pay this and that. You can always come to me and say, I'm gonna pay you even less, but you're gonna be an associate in this project, so you're gonna be given money over time, like as an associate. So if you have a plan, I mean,
royalties, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that's fair. Mr. Michael,
what do you have to come to me when you want? Okay, a deposit. That's that's what you need to have before you come to me. It's like, I love doing comics. I love doing comics for free, but I don't love doing your comics for free. Don't get me wrong. The point is, and I guess I should have said that. I don't know, but But like Jackson said, yeah, you come with a script, you come with what your character designs are, or at least I have to do character designs because that's going to cost you extra. That's just the case. And I'll give you my page rates. That's how it goes. Hopefully, you come with what you want, what you're looking for. Please, please don't do something on the Kickstarter. And I'm not upset by this really, but don't do something on the Kickstarter where you make it a tier, and then you come back and ask me later on to do that page or whatever that you put on the tier before even talking to me about putting it on the tier. That's kind of like
so you're telling me all the remarks for Magi's Grace? I shouldn't have done that?
No. Well, no, but see that, and that's
like,
of course that's not
no, you shouldn't have. You really,
You really shouldn't have.
You really shouldn't have.
But that's the thing. One thing I can say about it is if you're going to come to me and to be kind of, out the box on it, respect my time. Right? Because that is one thing I've learned as an artist is not I wouldn't say all more valuable, but as valuable as the money that you pay me as an artist. That's the case. Because now you're coming to me for one thing, I could get this done in this amount of time and I set it up. That's great because I'm giving you enough time that if there's a mistake or something you want changed, I can do that within that allotted time. But when you throw something on me later on after we're done and over with that you want done, I might do it and I might not. But please, kind of don't offer something to somebody else for me to do without talking to me first.
right?
That so.
All right, cool. Now look, I'm gonna change the question a little bit for Max, Jay, and myself because we're in the higher we hire people, right? We're not the hirees.
I've got a whole system. I've been waiting to answer this question.
Okay, go ahead.
As to how I hire an artist.
Go for it.
All right. First off, I look at people's Instagrams, I look at their Facebooks, I look at their Twitters, I look at all their stuff, I find their art, I take a look at what I see. If I like it, I contact the artist and I say, hey, I saw your art on Instagram. I really liked it. I'd like to maybe use you as a page or interior artist or for a cover or whatever it is. What are your page rates? And then I get the page rates back from them. Then we negotiate a page rate. And then I either put them to work or I say, hey, that's too rich for my blood. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good luck in your endeavors. And then if I hire them, before I hire them, I want to see their portfolio. I want to see their complete portfolio. I mean, I've seen their stuff on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, but I want to see their whole portfolio. After the page rates have been discussed, I'm like, okay, let me see your portfolio so we can, I can make sure that you're worth what you're trying to sell me on. And then once the page rates come through, that's when we go to work. I mean, it's either the cover or the print, the prints or the interiors, whichever we're doing. If it's interiors, we've already got the scripts done. We've got scripts for days. we've got written, so we're good there. So I mean, we do come with the plan. But the first thing we ask for is page rates, because if it's like, what's your page rate? And they tell me $300 a page, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't afford that shit.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple of those, and it's always like, thank you.
Yeah.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, best luck in your future endeavors.
Exactly. It's like
I want it per page, not the whole book.
Yeah.
Right.
So Jay, what are your thoughts? Basically answer the same question Max.
Wait, because Max answered differently than what you were going to ask, right? You were
No. Well, Well, the what I was gonna ask was basically what Max answered. Was basically is like, what's your approach to getting a new artist? Like how do you approach a new artist?
Well, all right. So I don't want to say I'm done searching. It's not. That's not it. But I'm on the other side of this journey where I'm not out there, looking as fervently as I used to. With conventions, people are coming up to the table and they are showing you their work. They're looking for work. Everything, pencilers, inkers, colors, letterers, and we talk. If I have the time to, if it's not busy at a convention, we'll talk. I got no problem looking at somebody's portfolio. I'm not going to judge them. It's not my place. I'm not an artist to say that, oh, well, this needs to be like this and this needs. I'm not going to do a portfolio review breakdown. I'm not going to tear you up or embarrass you. But I'll look at your work and I'll see if your style can fit something that I can work with. And then, if we continue conversation, ask them what their availability is like. Pay depends on how good you are, how long you've been doing this, and how quickly you can do this. Right? If you're gonna knock out a lot of stuff, and you're not, the best looking artist, but you can knock out content, maybe I'll pay a little bit more bonus because you can knock out stuff quickly.
Good, fast, or cheap. The three things that you can have you can have two of them.
Two of the three, yeah.
Right. But then I got people who take multiple bookings, right? And just like kill things, not just for me, but for everybody else who is involved in the team that is looking to get paid when they turn in their work. And that happens sometimes. It's just, we're creatives. I can't say everything over here is set in stone, right? It's flexible. And you just go with the flow depending on how good and how quick and how easy that person is to work with.
One more thing is if you really want to get an artist that, like, for example, we hire a lot of people through the Ed Benez studio.
Okay.
And they have an agent, so you contact their agent, you tell them what you're looking for, and then they match you with a few different artists. You get their portfolios, you go over the review, and then you decide which one you want to go with. So everything is set in stone, Carlos.
So, I mean, for myself, I'm like whenever, primarily when I'm looking for stuff for Oswald, right? So he's not an easy character to draw, so I can't just approach anybody, right? So I have to usually be very particular about who I approach. And usually what I'll do is when I approach somebody, usually I'll ask for a pinup, maybe a cover. And that's how I test people. I'm like, let's do a pinup, let's do a cover, let's see how the mouse comes out. If it comes out well, then I'll be like, okay, well, maybe we'll do a 3 or 4 page short story, and then we'll go from there if I have the budget for it, right? And that's the other thing is, can I fit you in my budget, right? Jay and I work a little differently. I work like when I work with an artist, I'll talk to you and I'll be like, look, I can contract you for 1, maybe 2 pages a week, but it's going to be a very steady 2 pages. You can count on the money that I'm going to give you. I will probably pay you if I'm sitting in front of my computer and I get the pages, I will probably pay you that minute.
Oh, that's so nice.
Okay. Or within 24 hours. You understand? So that's usually how I work it. But the thing is it's 1 or 2 pages. I couldn't say just give me 30 pages. You hand me a block of 10 pages and I could pay you. Usually doesn't work that way. You usually don't have that type of cash reserves on hand. I usually have it spread out. So I'm hiring more people at one time and I'm paying them slowly. You know what I mean? So over the course of the year, I'll end up with 200 or 300 pages, finished in the bank. But it just takes a little bit longer, but it works because I'm hiring more people. So, that's how I work. And the way I do it is, like I said, it's a slow process for me. I'm working with Jade Gonzalez, who I've been with for like 14 years, I think at this point. and then Oreño, who I've been with 4 years, but it took me 3 years to work him through that process. So it takes a while. It's not like it was just like, oh yeah, I had him do this and this and this. No, I had him do some pinups, then I had him do this, and then I had him do a 2-pager, and then it was like, okay, then now we can do this. And that took 3 years just to get to that. So, and now we're just doing whole stories. So that's how that works out for me. Jay, you're up. What's your question?
Oh, I gotta ask a question.
That's how this works. Yeah, that's how this works.
Yes. So the question is, would you collaborate? Right, because I don't want to say as an artist, because we have yourself and Max here as well. Would you collaborate with someone who is a jerk, but they pay well, or would you collaborate with someone who pays well, and the book will probably never see the light of day?
Wilson, you're up. What are your thoughts?
In both scenarios, you're saying the person pays, correct?
Yes.
Because I've worked in those scenarios where I've worked with people where, that they might have been nuttier than squirrel crap, but they paid.
Okay.
And I've worked with really nice people that I would work for again in a heartbeat. Again, because they paid, but they were so nice to work with. So there's been the gambit in between. I've worked for really nice people that never paid me. So again, it runs the gambit. I prefer to work with people that pays me and makes the work easy. And it's kind of funny in the sense of I've had conversations with other freelance friends like this before, where it seems like the larger the company, the easier and quick it is to get paid for. And there's not even the change a whole bunch of stuff. The smaller the company or some small press people, and you're not getting paid all that much, but they're nitpicking every little thing to the point where it's like it's not really worth the pay. And I've been lucky, blessed, or whatever you want to call it, where I had really good editors over the years that kind of protected me from the craziness of a large corporation whose owner is completely insane, but at least there's that buffer with an editor. Because I sometimes will get put on an email chain and read some stuff and go, I am glad I wasn't part of that chain. If I was to hear this, it's like I would walk away from the project, even if it paid good, because the owner of the company is insane. And I've worked with quite a few insane people over the years. Hell, I worked for Marvel, so I've saw some craziness going through. But if you have a really good editor that kind of buffer you from that, then it's kind of okay. Like there's some projects that I've worked on, and I was like, oh, yeah, you worked on that project? It's like, yeah, it was fun. It's like, really? Because I heard so-and-so's crazy. It's like, yeah, but I didn't work with that guy. I worked with someone in between. So, what would I rather do? I'd rather work with someone who I enjoy working with on a project that's not to say unique, but projects that I haven't done before. Those have been a lot of fun. Where it's like, okay, I do coloring, I do the lettering. In some cases, I do the package designs. That package design work has brought me work outside of comics as well, where I'm doing cards, non-sports cards, doing the package designs with that. And that was a lot of fun just because it was something a little different. But it was within a project that's comic related, but not comic books. And I found the whole process fascinating because then at that point, I'm dealing with printers directly, where it's like you normally just send the file and you don't really know what happens next. But when I'm dealing with the printer day by day, it just opened up another piece of information that I didn't have before. Now I could print my own sets of cards if I ever needed to, just because it was something new and exciting. So that's what I tend to like, is not only working with people who are doing fun stuff, but maybe doing something a little unique.
Well, what about if the guy was an asshole, but he paid well?
I've worked with plenty of people like that too. So I guess it comes down to the level of assholeness I could deal with.
Like Darth Vader.
But he pays well.
Exactly.
All those
He
guys
paid-
working on the Death Star, they got paid
Does he,
well.
though?
They got
Yeah,
paid. They got paid well. Plus, promotions were very quick. You rose the ranks quickly. You didn't have
is
like
true.
those micromanagers at the top wasting time.
Yeah.
If they didn't do it right, they were gone. So if you could finesse your way up to a certain portion, usually art director, and then you're pretty clear. After that, stay out of the VP area.
All right, nice.
Just don't disagree with him. That's all.
That's it.
That's all you had to do.
So Champe, we already know you work for a jerk, so you only have to answer the other half of the question.
That's fucked up. I'm only a jerk on the weekends.
No. I'm the kind of what you would call a sellout. I have a coat bar on my neck. I work for money. But what will change is Jay and the guys I've been working with can say that I like being close to the people I work with, and I try to be giving my opinion on why don't we do this. Maybe this part doesn't work. I'm gonna give you this pipe up because I like you. I like to be close to the people. If you're a jerk, then okay, I will work with you. Jay is gonna allow with this, but if you ask me to deliver a zombie-like Statue of Liberty, I'm gonna give you exactly that. But I'm not gonna give you else. Like I'm not gonna change camera angles. I'm not gonna do pretty much anything that you don't ask for. And I have worked for really bad people. I mean, I once had to do a caricature version of the son of an ex-president here in Colombia that everybody hates, but he paid really well. So here is your caricature. Fuck off. I don't want to do anything else with these people.
Gotcha. Nice. Okay. Cool. David, what are your thoughts?
So so the first one is if they pay well but they're jerk. What's the second one? If they pay well but
I don't
The book's never gonna see the light of day.
the book's never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
Well, I've done so many of those. I had like something that just released like last year, and I did it about 6-7 years ago, and it finally released, and I was like, I don't want you to release it just because that was like 6-7 years ago, and it looks terrible for what I do now. So like if people see that, they're gonna be like, oh, this is okay. But like I was in like my mid-20s or even like teens or something when I did it. I don't really like to work with like jerks though. I mean, like I'm fine with like if they're a little rude or something to me or whatever. I don't like when they're like rude or anything or mean to other creators or anything like that. I think we've all like kind of dealt with people, and some people have bad days, which I totally get. It's when they have a track record for that kind of thing where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this. And there are a lot of times where like they'll butter you up and be like, oh, I'm like super nice. They'll offer you, rewards or something if you work with them and royalties and all that. But then like push comes to shove and like you sign NDAs and everything, and all of a sudden this is who I really am. And then you don't end up working with those people again. And a lot of artists will like kind of tell each other about that kind of thing where it's like, this guy was really hard to work with, and he did this, that. I've had people they'll be like, hey, just do a fight scene for a page. They won't give me any direction. Just do this thing, and I'll be like, okay. And I'll spend hours doing this. And when I get it back, they're like, you were supposed to have them do this action or this or that. It's not in the script. It's not. I don't read your mind. I don't know. But they'll act like it's your fault that like you didn't do what they were thinking of that they never told you. But like. Even like the stuff that's not released or whatever, even if it's not released, you can still use it for like portfolio use, or if they want to do it in the future, sure, absolutely. I would much rather work with somebody like that. And a lot of the indie community is just fantastic, and they're all like super nice people, and we're all kind of just like the same in a lot of ways. We're just like a bunch of nerds that want to like have this great idea or want to just create. So I would definitely absolutely go with like if it's not going to come out, that's cool. I'd rather do that than work with a jerk, 100%.
All right, cool. Mr. Lanning.
And C. Michael Lanning works with JD, so he already knows that he works with the
I
jerk.
know exactly. Yeah, it's worse than that. I'm an asshole. So.
I thought Rosario was going a different place with that question, but well.
Oh, wait. Talk to me.
No, I don't remember. No, there's something that's called the asshole tax, and sometimes if you're an asshole, you get that tax. Here's the deal, and I'll answer the question in a minute, but here's the deal. When I do a page, you have 2 free changes that you want to do that page. You do get layouts, you see the roughs and everything, so you can make those changes even before that. But after the final page is done, you have 2 free changes to make. Okay. Now, if you want to make more than that, I'll charge you. If I like you, I might not charge you. That's where the asshole tax comes in. But as far as I have not really dealt with anybody who was an asshole per se in that regard. And it was hard to work for. They've showed themselves to be assholes in other ways later on. But if I had to pick between working on a project for somebody who's a known asshole and getting paid, or working on a project that might not see the light of day and getting paid, I think I'll go with the one that won't. I'll get paid by the one that won't see the light of day, because just like Jaxon says, you can use that as a portfolio, a Facebook, post. You can use it in something that will get you somewhere along the lines. And I totally understand what you mean about not 7 years later do you want somebody to print a comic, because you've progressed from that point, right? It's like, oh no, don't print that now. What are you doing here?
I can draw hands now. Don't do that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah, I would definitely, with the chance of something not seeing the light of day, because in the end, it's really up to me to get myself out there, regardless. As opposed to getting the yeah, there you go. As opposed to dealing with somebody that I don't have to deal with. I mean, I have to work for a living anyway. I work a 40-hour work week, as most of us do. I have to deal with assholes there. I don't want to have to deal with it on something that I enjoy doing.
Right.
So.
Right.
All right. Cool. Nice. Max. All right. Max stepped away. So I'll answer the question. I guess is dealing. In my case, it'd be dealing with a difficult artist who's actually accomplished, right? Like someone who's really good and who's difficult to deal with. The answer is no. Because there's no ROI in it. Because if they're difficult, that means it's probably going to take a lot longer, right? Because then I'm going to have to just go back and forth with them, and it's just going to take longer. Just no. Because I'd rather deal with somebody who's cool and who I can do business with straight and get the project done a little bit quicker. Whereas I know if I'm dealing with an asshole, it's going to take forever. I'm dealing with that right now with one artist who I usually pay half up front. And if it's a nominal amount, I really don't care. And I paid them it was like $60 I gave them up front. And I'm probably never gonna see this piece. And they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm working on it, right? Whatever. I'm gonna pass their name around and make sure that nobody ever hires it.
Oh,
Because that's just what's gonna happen.
Working on it. Gee,
Don't do that to Lanning.
No.
Lanning's already losing gigs out to
yeah, right.
As a matter of fact,
already, man. You know what I mean?
Oh wow! Do you see this? Do you see the way he just threw you under the bus? Anyway,
Yeah. We didn't throw him under the bus. I'm the one that told him not to shave his head. What are you talking about?
You just said
I'm going to throw him under the bus.
You just said he's getting replaced by his daughter.
No, I didn't say he's getting replaced by his daughter. I said he's losing bookings to his daughter.
Oh, he's losing bookings. Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
Wait, have you seen something that? Never mind. I was going to say something.
But guys, don't you think that
hire her? But no, that's not true.
I don't know if in the United States you have like this triad of things, like when you're working, you can offer rather charisma, speed, or talent, and choose 2 of those, and you can get away with those.
Right.
Yes,
But
yes.
Max brought that up, right? He touched on that earlier. Charisma, speed, or talent.
Fast, cheap, or good.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast,
You
cheap,
can
or
get-
good. Yes.
You can get fast and good, but it ain't going to be cheap.
Right.
Fast and cheap, it ain't going to be good.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Look-
can get good and cheap, but it's not
But
going
it
to
ain't
be
gonna
fast.
fast.
Right. It's not going to be fast. That's the one I usually go for. I'm like, take your time.
Yeah.
Like, take your time. Don't worry about it. Take your time.
Yeah.
I got time. You know. So Max, how would you deal with it? How would you deal? Would you work with a difficult artist?
No,
Right?
not at
Right,
all. I mean, if they're being difficult, I don't want anything to do with them. There's way too many artists that are vying for those jobs for
Mhm.
me to deal with your prima donna ass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Well,
know,
There you go. Yeah.
I can find another guy that'll probably do it for cheaper.
Mhm.
I mean, nothing against Champe or any of the people in South America, but they're just cheaper artists
Mhm.
and they're good.
Yep.
They're good. So, I mean, that's where I get most of my artists from in South America.
You know, there's a whole independent community of artists that are amazing. That they just don't get the notoriety that they should be getting. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's only working through Champe and some of his countrymen that I found out, you know, the independent community in Colombia is the comic book community, right? They don't have major titles out there.
No.
They don't, you know. Yet their conventions from the pictures are just as good as any convention that's out here, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the talent is just as good as anything that's out here. I want to tack on something that you said to Max, right? Forget about majority of them being cheaper. You know what? If I got somebody who comes up to the booth that travels from either the Philippines, South America, India, Japan, looking for work, you know, I mean, that right there, that's going to show me also initiative,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And
100%.
that's huge, man.
I mean, if
And
someone who shows up at a convention trying to hawk their fucking art to you, that lets you know, hey, this dude's serious. He's spending money to make money.
I like, all right, let me bring that.
What?
Let me bring a parallel to that too, right? Because it's not just artists seeking work. I remember meeting a dude who came to New York from Cleveland on the train to hawk his books, and he was supposed to be there with his team, right? Other creators from his local community, that they were all going to share the room with him. They were all going to share the table, you know, the expenses, and it was supposed to be cost effective. And the dude rolled out here on his own. He sucked it up. Right? He was a young man who, you know, that was a booth at Comic Con coming from Cleveland
For New York Comic Con?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't cheap.
No, right? Coming from Cleveland, the process of a booth, that's maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months rent, right?
Just to pay for your hotel room is 2 months rent.
You know what I'm saying?
In New York City, yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
here was the dude, and he was with his stuff, and he didn't have enough stuff to fill his table, right? Because he was expecting the rest of the team there, but he made the best of it. And somebody like that, I'm going to spend money buying that book because I know what it's like, right? Packing up the trunk and hauling ass to a convention 18 hours away, sleeping on somebody's floor or somebody's couch so I could save money, right? So it's that drive, it's that initiative, right? It's that creative spirit of I'm going to get it done by hook or by crook.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. Fair enough. You know, but it's funny. C, you're up.
I have a question. I do have a question for the show, but I kind of this prompted a question I kind of want to ask on the side. When we're talking about hiring, Philippines, South America, Indonesia, the fees that you guys get, is that like for me here? This is kind of like a part-time job. The amount is it a good fee? Like, is the exchange rate there good or?
Yeah.
Does
You got to remember, the American dollar, especially the last 3 or 4 years, has been killing it overseas.
Oh yeah.
Like if you go to Japan, the American dollar is basically $1.50 to their dollar.
Yep.
And
look at the top of the show with Larry, right? He's got a campaign that was just touching $7 grand, and that's 10 grand Canadian.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The American dollar has been very strong overseas.
Like with Brazil, the real is like $5, or for $1 gets you 5 reals. So, I mean, stuff is cheaper over there in certain aspects. Some things are more expensive, but it's just living in a different country. Different things are going to have to be imported, and they're different things that have to be exported, and your GDP is different, your inflation rate's different, and blah blah blah. But it's all tied to the dollar.
No, I get it, but I'm asking Champe really because he's there. That's my question.
So go ahead, Champe.
Put him on the hot seat.
He's the one.
Well, no, but that's the thing. We could talk about exchange rates till the cows come home, and we might understand that. But Champe's living it, so I'm kind of curious.
I was actually gonna tell you a thing that happened in Facebook, because somebody made a comment, a post on a group of comic book artists, saying that, okay, I'm searching for artists. I want to pay $30 per page, and somebody went there like, that's insulting. How do you do that? You're insulting us. And pretty much everyone was there like, why insulting? Is his business. And if somebody is interested in that, that's their business, even if they're in the United States, because I guess $30 for you will be that profitable. I don't know, because I don't live out in dollars. I live in pesos. And for me, for instance, if I do $50 a page for a comic book that has 23 pages, I can do that work in like a month, and that will give me the amount of money I need for 3 months of living, and living well. So that's pretty sweet for us. I mean, maybe for you guys, that fee will be insulting. I don't know, but you can't judge what other people charge for their job. I mean, we are living good thanks to Mr. J here. So what the hell?
Right.
Whoa, he called me Mister. I got a Mister for my name. Yeah, baby. Woo!
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if I need to move to Colombia and stuff. That's what I'm looking at.
Look, I just had a friend move to Colombia, and I asked him. I said, he's in an Airbnb, and I said, how much is it? He was like, $600 a month and he has a fully furnished apartment. And I'm like, $600 a month.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what you get in New York City for $600 a month? You get a storage unit.
I was thinking a cardboard box.
And
you got to find one first.
You get a parking space. You get a parking space for $600 a month in New York City.
My wife and I are trying to find a house. We're trying to find a house, and we can't find a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house for less than $499,000. And let me tell you something.
That's not New York, though.
It's out of boroughs, right? It's out of boroughs, and it is not in the best fucking neighborhoods, right? Mm-hmm. We found an awesome house, $399,000, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, right? An acre of land, and I don't know, 6 blocks walk. A 6 blocks walk from a supermax prison in upstate New York.
I was going to say, is that the Finger Lakes? I mean, where the hell is that? 9 hours from here.
So it's like, who's living a better life? right? Us or Champe. You know what I mean? I mean, he's
Dude, I have, for instance, look at Granda's case. He's living a great life,
right.
working as a comic book artist for the United States. Here in Colombia, he has this really nice, big hacienda house that he just bought, working in comics. He's having a better life than most, comical works in here in Colombia. He's earning what a professional will do. And I have friends here in Colombia that they go work on a hotel in South Carolina, I guess. They go for a month working on the United States for a month, and they come here and live for the rest of the year what they earn in 1 month. So
we're all moving to Colombia, is what you're saying.
I think I'm ready.
come to Colombia. I need the guys here to make the comic book industry in Colombia.
I think I'm ready. I think I'm
All
ready.
right. All right,
We'll just
see,
keep R.J. Carter here so we can kickstart comic books here in America.
here you go.
I used to
So-
date a Colombian
settled.
girl, and she was.
So, see, what's your question, man? We've gone
Wait.
far afield.
Okay, so as an artist, what cliched saying do you wish would just go away? For instance, like you should be able to finish a comic book page in a day. Things like that. Is there something you consistently hear that you're like, okay, that's obviously somebody that's just doesn't understand understand what you do?
Who's the question for?
I mean, I'll go first if you want. Like,
Yeah, it's
Go
going to be
ahead,
for
David.
everybody. Yeah.
Go for it.
My favorite is "You're so lucky," and it's just like people downplay like what we've gone through as artists. You know, like decades of practice and honing your craft, and ups and downs, trying to find work, traveling to conventions, state to state or whatever it is, and that's not even including like health issues or family issues or anything like that. But like people say that like artists have it really good, or like they were found, like you were at a convention and you just happened to be at the right place, right time. And it's not really that, they see the one time that you got found or whatever, but the dozens, hundreds of times where maybe you went to a convention, you made like $30 or something, or you spent days on ends not sleeping because you had to hit like a deadline, and if you don't hit that deadline, you're out of that work. But yeah, that's like the biggest one I see is like they'll say, yeah, you got found because like you were at the right place at the right time, and you're lucky that happened, and it's just not really the case.
Well, you're at the right place, but you were prepared to be at the right
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Wilson, what are your thoughts?
I'm not too sure how to answer that because I don't really have anything clichéic now and then. Only because I've heard them all, and it got to the point where I kind of tune it out. The last time I think someone insulted me, just being at a convention, someone came by and was like, "So what is this stuff?" I'm like, "Well, I work in the comic industry. I've self-published my own book, blah blah blah." I give the pitch, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice." And it's like, okay, why are you here? And then later found out it was just they were doing a shortcut and they were crossing the convention center because it was one of these convention places where you didn't have to pay to get in. So these people were like kind of crossing through and then just like, ooh, let's look at the freaks. Let's see what they have. And they happen to start up a conversation with me. And it's like, oh, here's the pitch and stuff like that. And it's like, okay. So it's like, this is not a hobby. I'm not too sure what they wanted. That was like the last time I had like something in a sense more weird than anything else. But clichéic to me, it's nothing that I can think of off the top of my head. Usually I'll have either people coming by and they say the usual, "Oh, you draw comics. Oh, my nephew loves comics and he could draw really good." Oh, okay. No, I mean it. Like he could draw this kind of stuff. Like, okay, sure they can.
Yeah.
So I think I probably got that more than any other. I mean, I've heard all the cliche ones, but it usually in a conversation, it's like, "Oh, you work in comics? That must be a lot of fun." It's like, yeah, it is. I have a great time. It's like, and then there's always someone I'm related to, and it happens to be a child, can draw really good, and I bet he can draw as good as you. And it's like, probably, but you never know.
But I'm making money at it, so
Exactly. And then and you try to turn it around. It's like, oh, really? They like comics? Well, I could sign this one to him if you would buy it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, that's probably the most cliche one. Is my XYZ loves comics and they can draw just as good.
Nice. Okay.
El
Champe?
Champe.
Cliches. So there's a lot, but two that I will definitely cut out. One from the point of view of the buyer is that comic books are not just superheroes. There's a lot of stories that can be told with comics. I mean, it's a medium of telling stories, not just showcasing superheroes. But from the part of us, the creators, the cliche I would love to, tackle out will be stop copying the results and start analyzing the formulas. What do I mean by this? Because this happened in Colombia. Once we made an exercise and we said, okay, how would you make a Colombian Captain America? And what does these morons do? They dress somebody up with the flag of Colombia and a shield that resembles or shield with a condor and all these things. And no, you are not analyzing Captain America. Now, picture this. You're in the second freaking World War. You went into the war because Japan just blew up one of your naval bases. And the soldiers don't want to go to a freaking world war. They don't want to go. Then this comic book company goes out and says, look what I have for you. And in the first fucking issue, you see a guy with the flag of your country smashing Adolf Hitler's face in the cover. So picture how big would that be, not for American society, but American soldiers. That rallies a lot of, I think North Americans are so patriot after Captain America, actually, because you became more in love with your country after that kind of thing. So
yeah,
when you analyze that formula, bring me a Captain, the Colombian Captain America, and you're not gonna do the same because you don't speak to Colombian soldiers the same way. You don't speak to Colombian people the same way because we are not at war. We have never been in a world war. So how will you make a comic that entitles our soldiers becoming really patriot-like? So that will be the thing. When I say, give me the North American version of Goku, don't bring me an American Dragon Ball involution, please. Analyze why is Goku a really great character and translate that to your own country, to your own people.
Please, no Dragon Ball evolutions. Agreed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't do that.
That was a live action movie from the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
You're the only one. You're the only one.
Yeah, because I can't stand those cartoons. They're shitty.
My cliche statement that I want to go away is, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I just want that shit. I want that shit to just go, just crumple it up and file 13 that shit, because of course it is what it is, motherfucker. Tell me what's going on so we can fix the goddamn problem. Don't just be like, it is what it is. No, it's not. We can change it.
Fair enough. Jay, what's your favorite cliche?
I got two. All right. The first is, when you're at the booth in a convention, you made all of that. Yeah, motherfucker. I mean, not myself. Yeah, I had a lot of help, but this is shit that we made. You know what I mean? That, and then the people from the outside, they're always like, "Oh, I got this great idea." I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Find somebody, to put it together with you, and best of luck. If you're looking for people, I'll send people your way. But I can't do it. I got a great character for you to. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Every time I get someone saying they got a great idea, I'm always like, okay, give me $5,000 because that's what it's going to cost to make the book.
At least, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a way to stop that quickly from having friends or people's like, oh, I have an idea, and they want to tell it to you, and I learned to go quickly. Oh, okay, great. Write it down. And that stops them dead in their tracks.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's
usually,
like,
if you ask them for a script, that'll put the kibosh on them too.
yeah, I say write down the idea, write down the storyline, and then get back to me.
Yeah,
and they never do.
I think Max, you went a little too far. Put together an outline. Let me see it. Let me see it. They won't even do that.
I just tell them to give me a script because they're like, I got a great idea. I'm like, all right, let me see the script. Like, if I don't have the script written, I'm like, well, write the script up and then submit. I go and then I give them the link to my submissions page.
That's the last you hear.
There you go. Nice.
There you go.
And then occasionally I'll hear back from them, but usually I don't. It's like, here's the first 4 pages of the script. I'm like, that's great. Where's the other 20? I need to know that you can tell a story, boss. Come on.
I found that as a letterer, and this is thinking about it, cliches. What I would like to stop are the following words in almost every comic book that I've worked on and lettered through the series that I've worked on. I worked on everything from regular mainstream comics to manga. Can we stop using "this ends now"? Can we stop using that? I can't tell you how many independent books that I've done, and there's always "this ends now."
That's how I end the issue, though.
Or it's my turn.
I actually saw a YouTube video where they said, it's a bad movie if they said "this ends tonight." Just don't watch the movie if it says that in it.
Oh, I thought it was a bad movie if Jai Courtney was in it.
That's true too, right?
No.
Well, I mean,
I think Guy Courtney's saying "this ends tonight." Even
Halloween, what was it? Halloween Kills or whatever the third one was, when it says "Evil dies tonight," and they said it
oh god,
150,000 times.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
That just showed you that every time you say it, it compounds how shitty the movie is.
That's what happens when you cast somebody from the fucking Breakfast Club in a Halloween movie. But that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
They were very self-aware with that.
Yeah.
Which one from the Breakfast? From the
He
Breakfast
was the
Club?
one that "this is tonight." He's Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, he might.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
skinny
the
guy.
nerd kid.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. What? We're going back then to the 80s, aren't we?
Yeah, he's in the
No, this
Breakfast
was-
Club.
No, this was
Oh.
he was in the Breakfast Club, but this was the second one of the new Halloween trilogy.
Yeah.
Evil dies tonight. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
You don't look the same.
No, he doesn't.
Spent a little bit of time.
He's also
Yeah.
in the Dark Knight.
Yep. He hit the gym.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. It took me a while before I realized who he was. He does not look the same at all.
All right. To get back to the question. Like,
Wait, just because you didn't see it doesn't mean you can't.
This ends now.
yeah, this thing is now,
This conversation ends now. Yeah.
So to answer the question for myself, my favorite one is people come over to the table, they look at the stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is great. These comics look fantastic. What do you do?" "I'm the writer." "Oh, you're just the writer. Is the artist here?" And I'm just like, motherfucker, if not for there would not be this stuff on the table.
Guys,
I'm also the financier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm the
this
Monopoly
happens-
guy.
I don't know if this happens in the US, but at conventions sometimes there come some kids that grabs the comic backwards as if it were a manga made in Japan. I don't know if that happens there. And they
Rarely.
start, how can
I've
I
seen
read
it.
this? Like,
I'm sure.
However, you read normal books, moron.
Mhm.
The regular way.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
but-
I'm sure it happens.
The way you read
because
every other book.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it happens because we've had people on Larry's show that were manga people that didn't even know comics existed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they were younger guys, but they didn't even know comics
Much.
existed.
Yeah,
They just knew
much-
manga existed. Well, they were in their 20s.
Let's see, that's when it becomes their parents' fault, isn't it? But that's
Yeah.
you know.
That's true. Their parents should be brought out and beaten.
Also, there was a famous phrase that happened here. Someone was correcting an artist and like, your anatomy sucks. And he was like, I don't need anatomy, I do manga.
Oh wow. Well, that's
Forget
not
everything
very
you
true
know.
either, but,
There you go.
oh gosh.
So
Oh,
I've got a question for the artists because
So look, Larry's asking. He says he has a great idea. I think we have to go with Max's suggestion: $5,000.
But yeah, Max got a question. What's up?
Yep,
kid?
I got a question
go,
for the artists on the panel. What would you do if someone asks you? I mean, they're going to pay you, but they want you to draw something you're uncomfortable drawing.
Interesting.
What
Like-
level of comfort are we talking about?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, like,
I worked in manga. There's not much left. I haven't seen.
yeah. I mean, there's
I've drawn a
nudity.
tentacle or two.
There can be nudity. It can be
Hey, man.
anywhere from nudity to, babies getting ripped apart by demons in hell. Whatever. I mean,
Fun
it's
stuff.
your own personal moral code. If someone pushes it, would you still do the work, or would you just power through, or would you just be like, no, I'm not. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't like it. I don't want my brand associated with it.
So, would you draw a cross from Avatar? Is the question.
Because we do a lot of nude books, and we do a lot of, like, we've got a character called Lady Blasphemy, for God's sake. And the
Nice.
book is very blasphemous. So, I mean, like, if you're a very religious person, that might be a no-go for you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Wilson.
I'll take. Okay, so as I jokingly said before, I worked in manga, and they were tentacles and stuff like that. When I did that, that was early in my career, and my actual question was for the publisher: do you guys have any problems publishing these books? Like, has there been backlash and stuff like that? And they were like, no. It has a rating on it, but there's nothing. That they had no problems publishing. So it's like, okay. So I went ahead and I worked on projects that were like that. Years later, I've worked on many independent stuff where it was horror books and things like that. So there's been nudity and there's been characters being killed and stuff like that. I've only ever once worked on a project that I lettered that was a little blasphemous in the sense of what they were talking about, because they were making fun of religion, but they were making fun of all the religions. So they weren't sticking to one. This book was blasphemous to everybody. And so I didn't have a problem working on it. So far, the projects that I've worked on that would be a little blue or off color hasn't been a problem. And so it's like I haven't been asked to work on any projects that were like, oh, I can't deal with this subject or things like that. I've seen some projects come across my desk where it's like one or two is like, oh no, I'm not working on that. And it was mainly because one, it was bad art, but two, it was also the subject of it. It's like, oh, you're not really writing this to tell a good story. This to me just seems like it's gore for gore's sake, and it's punishing people that weren't necessarily needed to be punished. So to me, I've seen a project like that where it's like, no, I don't think I'm going to work on this, and the project never went anywhere anyway. So I guess we all have our personal line that we won't cross. And eventually, like, I don't really talk about the manga stuff that I did because, one, you can't really find it anymore, and two, I now more work on children's stuff anyway. So my brand has gone to a more friendly, a more family friendly type of thing. And I haven't been asked to do those projects anyway. So I think because it was early in my career, I was able to do it and it didn't really affect me at all. So that's why I can now, pick and choose projects with a little more of a keen eye.
All right. Cool. Champe, what are your thoughts?
I'm trying to imagine something that would make me uncomfortable in the first place, because I don't know what would that be. I mean, seriously, if you come to me and you say, Champe, I need a scene of a demon raping the severed head of a baby, I would look at you like, why would you need that? I mean, you freaking psycho. Well, I can do it. Yeah.
See, I like you. I like you. You're like, I'm gonna talk to you after this.
I would like
about something else, not about what he just said, though. Not that.
No, it's pretty close.
In fact, I would like to do that exercise, to challenge myself as an artist. I don't get offended by that. Maybe I would be careful not to fall in something like this Charlie Hebdo thing that happened back in 2016. I'm so bad with numbers, sorry.
Yeah.
If I get into the risk of being shot by an Islamist or something like that, or a really fan of Christianity is going to go to my bed, to my house and kill me, I will try not to offend that people, but I do not get offended by pretty much anything.
So, like, for example, we had in one of our books that's coming up, Love and Madness, there's a pretty graphic rape scene. And Fernando drew it, and he said it was the hardest thing he'd ever had to draw in his life. And he always had to, like, take a shower after he was done drawing it just because he felt so fucking wrong. I mean, but I didn't write it. His wife wrote the book.
Way to wash your hands of that one.
That's funny.
So
Now
I'm
we
just
really
kind of
understand
like,
why he had to take a shower. But
yeah. So I'm just kind of like, well, she wrote it. You talk to her.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, David, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so pretty much the same thing. Like Wilson was saying, stuff when I first started out, because I mean, I've 20 something years I've been doing comics, so there's a lot of stuff in the beginning that's like I wouldn't probably touch today, but like at the same time, like there's a lot of stuff that like probably people would shy away from that. Like I'm still kind of like cool with. Like I just did like a lot of not safe for work stuff for like Ryan Cummins for She Brings the Devil Too. I did like chibi stickers, but it's like really hardcore stuff that like I cannot post on Facebook or anything, and he couldn't even post on Kickstarter because it was like really raunchy stuff. But like I don't know, there's some things that like I wouldn't really hit on. Like I had did stuff in like the past of like where they had like heroes that like would like lynch people and stuff like that, and I'm like kind of more now where like I don't want to really portray that like in depth. Like maybe you can show it off like panel or something like that, but like I don't want to showcase that kind of stuff, especially because people use that to like show Kickstarter and promote books. I don't really want people to see that, take it out of context or anything, which we've seen like especially with artists. They'll take like the little snippet or whatever and be like, oh look, this is what he's okay with doing this. So I kind of am a little bit more mindful of that stuff. I even used to do like a fake name and that kind of thing because I'm like I don't want people to think this is what I think. So I used to do like a pen name for things.
All right.
Just like Bollywood used to do.
Yep.
I actually got banned off Twitter because my last name isn't actually Jaxon like this. So I got banned for pretending to be somebody I'm not.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Yes, when
Go
I
on.
log in, it says my account is permanently suspended for impersonating another individual.
Well, that's good old Facebook for you.
Yeah.
Wait, Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay.
Yeah,
my
Twitter.
bad.
I mean, it's the same thing. Twitter, Facebook made me change my name at first because originally it had something else. Still not my, like, they told me to send an ID, which doesn't have this, but they're like, fine, whatever, we'll take it. So, like, they accepted it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my real name isn't Max DeVille. It's a DBA, so I can get away with it by
That was atrocity. Max atrocity.
yeah, my Max Atrocity. No, it's a DBA, so I can get away with it. They let me do it. I just have to send them the DBA form and my real ID and all that other shit. It was a pain in my ass, is what it was.
Yeah.
But I kept my name.
So, C, is there anything you've done or would do that makes you uncomfortable or wouldn't do?
I would love to say no. I would love to say yes, but I have done stuff that I was paid to do. But no, there is. I mean, of course, there's some moral things that I would. Pedophilia? No, I'm not.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nothing illegal. I'm just saying stuff that's.
But then also, you have to take into account what do I feel like looking at and referencing. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Silicon Valley. And on there, the guy ended up getting a job, and it was a great paying job. The problem was he had to look at penises all day to identify them for a filter, right? It's a great paying job, but look what you got to do all day. So the question comes in: if I take this job, what do I have to look at to get the right references to get to everything? Yeah,
That's where I draw the line.
I barely want to look at mine. You think I want to look at anybody else's?
Yeah.
There's a guy who's made millions selling hog semen. Right? So imagine having to harvest that.
With, right? I mean, no judgment here.
Right.
Oh, you just fucked my head up. That's and I don't want to know. I don't want to fucking know.
Well, I want to figure out how to make $1 million selling hog semen. I'll take $1 million. I'll take $1 million as long as I don't have to manually manipulate the hog.
See, that's
there's some sort of
$1 million, you could hire somebody.
Here's the fucked up part.
Exactly.
Here's the fucked up part, right? I'm now thinking beyond that. I'm thinking what Max is asking, right? Do I have to refrigerate? How am I going to keep it cold in shipping? How much is do I buy dry ice in bulk? You know what I mean? Is there a premium charge applied for this? Right? Is it shipping, handling plus? I'm like, could there be a market? It's like, what are we talking about?
Buy it. We don't know.
Say you're a businessman without saying you're a businessman.
You know what I'm saying? What happens if you don't? Do you use filler material? You know what I mean? Instead of cutting it with fentanyl, do you cut it with human semen? And you still use it to inseminate a pig?
Subpar pig semen.
What's crazy is past 5 seconds of this coming to light, you have got all these questions.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not. It's my process. It's not the topic. It's my process.
That's
how you analytics before.
I guess this man is gonna be so banned on Facebook right now.
That's the businessman in him.
Yep. That's how you know he's a middle manager. He's always in the process. How do you get things from point A to point B?
See,
that's what it is.
Never ask my husband how far he can go. Damn right.
Are you a project manager?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm somebody who moons my sister's wedding party after the wedding is over. Indoors.
That sounds like a project manager.
Every project manager I know has been kind of nutty.
Yeah. Thank you. Max. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me in a while.
So Jay, is there anything you've ever worked on that you wouldn't work on if it offended you?
Well, the illegal stuff definitely. Offending, I don't think offending is for me more the question than is it
or makes you feel uncomfortable.
no, it's like, would the reader get more of an impact seeing it, the visual representation, or do you Hitchcock it, right? And do you set it up and not show it and let the reader head? Like,
you're looking at it wrong. You're a hired hand. You're a hired hand.
Yeah.
You're not the boss. The boss is telling
you know what? Okay, the boss is telling me this. The boss is telling me to do X. Okay, do I just pan to the side and show the shadow of it?
The boss doesn't want the shadow.
Oh, well then, you know what?
Here's the book. Here's the book. We want to put this book out.
Yeah.
I need you to work on it.
See, again, I look at it after
You're not the editor. You're not the editor.
I can't answer it because as the artist, there's certain things. The illegal stuff. For me, don't fuck with kids.
But that's illegal. That we're not talking about illegal. We're talking about but like, morally questionable.
Yeah. So you know what? Preacher stuff gave me the heebie-jeebies. You know what I'm saying? Well, with the whole Arseface arc. Right?
And too close to home.
Yeah, dude. Because child abuse shit, like whether it's verbal or physical, and the kid got both of it. You know what I mean?
I thought you meant the way you looked in the mirror.
No, I can't see my ass in the mirror. I gotta drop it on the bottom of the shower. You know what I mean? That way I can make sure I know what I'm clipping. Come on, bro.
Let the light hit it just right.
He sets the hand mirror down on the bottom of the shower.
Yes.
And then he squats down on top of it.
You have to.
He's good to go.
There you are.
You got to make sure, because you don't want an ingrown hair in the gooch. That's the worst fucking thing that could possibly happen. You know what I mean? You got to clean that out. Again,
so wait a second. So you're willing to talk. No, you're willing to talk about this. So what is your limit to do as a professional in a book?
So abusive stuff. I can't. I guess that would be my limit. Right? But gross out factor and shit like that. Yeah, no, fuck it. I mean, I watch Hellraiser. I could down it, right? I've watched trauma films, right? But abusive stuff. So I guess So I won't go further.
Have you watched the Serbian film?
No, I can't do. No, man.
I think Champe has. He knows what I'm talking about.
So, like, if someone had a comic book of the Serbian film, and was like,
could you write it?
We want you to write this book.
Yeah,
I don't think I could. And the fact that you guys are like alluding to it really being that bad, so I can't.
It's bad, bro.
It's about as worse. The worst, most violent, disgusting movie you will ever see.
See, that's not. And you know what? I got fucked up with Cannibal Holocaust as a kid. Like that shit. That still fucks with my head, bro.
We're talking raping babies.
No, that's not gonna happen. See, that's that'll fucking piss me off, kid. Yeah. See, that's insightful to me.
Yeah.
What's funny is if I don't know,
but it was a true story.
It was a true
story.
That's
even worse, man.
Right? Because the director comes on, like the version I have. There's a cut where they have the director at the end. He's talking about why he made the film. And why he did the film the way he did. He said everything that happened in that film occurred during the Serbian wars. Everything. All of those things. And it's horrifying. I mean, it puts the movie in a different, for me, it put it in a different perspective. Because it was like, holy shit.
Like that one scene in Platoon. Like that scene in Platoon. Right? You didn't see it happen. You know what happened. Right? And yeah, all right. So that's my line. That's definitely my line.
Actually, Jay has a point there, because if you hire me to do an even worse scene as like that, I will do like something like Jay is implying. I wouldn't show it. I would let the reader know that it is happening, but I don't have to show it because your imagination will do harder things to your own perception that whatever I can do on paper.
Yeah,
Now,
the Hitchcock method.
Right.
Yeah, if the publisher pushes me on, no, I want you to do it literally. Yeah, I can do that, but I will suggest you to get a psychologist. Why would you want to do that?
You should look at some of Tim Vigil's work.
Like, you're asking a question to a guy who knows, not thinks, who knows. The original Willy Wonka flick is a fucking horror story. You know what I'm saying? And this is before he found out what snozberries really fucking were.
There you go. Nice.
You know what I'm saying? When I found out I'm like, he was a sick fuck, bro.
Yeah. That was kind of a rude awakening.
You know what I mean? And then he made the little girl do it. These snozberries taste like real snozberries. See? So
like,
going back, reflecting on it, it's like that shit shouldn't have fucking happened, man.
All right. So I'll answer the question now. All right. So I've done La Blue Girl and Beauty and Beast Invasion, so it doesn't even matter.
I was like, you did La Blue Girl, so you're
exactly.
You're cut out of the fucking.
See, but that was porn.
Right? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It was
the answer.
That's all it was. It was porn.
It was art.
Yeah, it was art. Right.
Special interest.
David has it right.
Special interest.
It could have skewed another way if they started talking about waffles of a certain color. You know what I'm saying? And he never did that.
But
thank you, man.
Another sequel, maybe.
Books. Yeah.
Thank you.
You haven't read the book, so you don't know.
Because you would have said it.
I've worked. Yep. Like he said, he worked on those books. I did too. I was young. I needed the money.
Yeah, that's what it was. We were both young at that time.
That was exactly it.
No,
but again, it was something that was, to me, didn't cross a line for that particular, because again, it was something that could be published.
Right. And even Stallone did a porn. So I mean, when he was young, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that the books in Japan are edited. The books in America didn't need to be edited. So I was one of those artists that got to draw those dirty bits in.
Oh,
and
how do you the correction guy.
And how do you put that on your resume? Draw cocks well.
I draw
smirk while you write it.
I draw penises all day long.
Cocks and balls, guys.
That's it. You had to end up drawing that right on the books. But again,
he did have the job in Silicon Valley.
And our names I don't think our names were printed in the books anyway. In those early days too. But again, that's those were fine to do back then.
How do you show that portfolio?
Is there a title for that, or how does that work?
Look, this is what the page.
That is production artist.
I was done with it.
I was a production artist. I was basically doing art corrections, or fill-in artist.
Stunt cock.
Like a fluffer, kind of.
He was the fluffer. That's what he was.
But I'll answer the question, and that's that. If it's not illegal, I'll publish anything.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a First Amendment absolutist. You want to fucking say whatever you want to say, go right ahead. I mean, it's got to meet the art. The level of the art has to meet the Atrocity Press standard.
I'm with you, but let me ask you this question, because you are a publisher now, right?
Yep. I am.
So let's say you did it because of that reason, right? You're First Amendment hardcore. You're with it. You stand by the artwork. I totally understand that. But now you released it and it's affecting sales. Forget about talk from the left, talk from the right. Forget about that, right? But it's affecting sales. People are dropping off of other products, right? Some of your core consumers
have dropped off.
Right? And I'm not talking about the yakety schmackety ones. I'm talking about some of your whales have dropped off.
Yeah. Well, right? I mean, at that point in time, it's a business decision that you need to make. Do you think that the sales from the book that you're putting out are going to offset
Okay.
the sales that
Okay.
you've lost,
Okay.
or if you don't think they're going to offset the sales that you lost, cancel that fucking book.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a moral decision at that point in time. It's dollars and
It's a
cents.
business one. Right. Right. Okay. Good.
All right, cool. I got one last question, and I'm hoping we can answer it quickly, although I doubt it. But I'm hoping we get right. So here it is. Here it is. Because, like I said, this is for like I would know how to recognize this. I think Jay would know how to recognize this. Max would know how to recognize this. Anyone who's a publisher, and I'm sure you guys will know how to recognize. But we do have new people coming in, right? And we want to help try to educate those people. And here's a problem, right? We get new people coming in. They're looking for rates. They don't know how to identify what is an unrealistic or an egregious rate, right? How would you suggest a person, like, what can they do to find out what is the best way to like get an artist for a reasonable rate, right? Because we've all seen them. I just recently saw a guy pay $1,000 for a cover, and I was just like, I saw the cover. The artist worked for company XYZ in the past, and I'm like, but that company doesn't pay those rates. Why the hell should you? And I was just like a little bit flabbergasted. I was just like, you crazy, right, for paying that rate. I feel personally, because I don't think there's an ROI involved. I don't think there's a good return on it. But that's how I personally feel about it. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do we identify, or how can we help a new person identify that, right? So I don't know. Let's start with David. What are your thoughts?
So one of the things is my rates are like really low, to where like every time I post them, I get people in my inbox like, "What's your problem, bro? You ruined this for the rest of us." So
I
the
was
way
going
that
to ask that.
yeah,
I
exactly.
You catch flack for that.
I do all the time. Sometimes they'll do it like right on the post, and like Facebook mods will like remove that. If not, then I will get in my inbox like, dude, you can't do that because everybody else expects us to do what you do. Which, like, I'm not doing everyone's book in the entire world, so there's no way that even makes sense, because the next guy's not going to be charging what I charge, or at the level I'm at, speed I'm at, whatever it is. My whole thing is I just have to be able to like pay my bills, so I keep it low enough, especially for indies. If I'm doing for like bigger people, like I charge a different amount for the big guys than I do for I've done work for Jay, I've done JD, I've done work for you guys. I keep it low, just enough to like you guys aren't going to be nickel and dimed or anything, but I can still pay my bills. And then I kind of just go by what I started to do is how much time I generally take, and then I say, okay, I want to make this much an hour, like, and treat it more like an actual job. If I don't make this much per hour, then I got to up them. If I make more than enough, I'll keep it steady. But as long as I'm making whatever I set for myself to be able to pay, medical bills and everything, then I'm good with that. I don't want to overcharge stuff, because everybody's like pretty much for the most part, everybody's in the same boat. It's like people working at like McDonald's or Subway or something that want to like make their book. Like a lot of people, this isn't like a full-time thing, and they want to make it a full-time thing, and they can't spend, like you're saying, like $1,000 on a cover. Like, they're not going to be able to do that. And even the big guys, from experience, they don't either. So, I generally just try to keep it within range, so that like the next guy like coming along is like, okay, like I can afford that. And what most people don't see is that like that adds up really quickly. So like even if it's like $70 a page or something like that, across 20 pages, that's someone's mortgage. Depending on where you are, that's a lot, and that's only one thing for like 1 month. Next month you got to do it again. So yeah, just pretty much as far as like my rates personally, just keep it within that range, and I'm good.
Okay, cool. Wilson, what are your thoughts?
Usually when I try to talk to as many people as possible to find out what rates are in different levels. So I talk to my Marvel friends, and it's like, all right, what are Marvel paying these days? What is the starting rate for something? because as a publisher as well, I kind of want to get an idea what people are getting. And then I talk to a lot of small press guys. It's like, what are you paying your group of artists? Just so I can also have an idea what I should be charging. Because there have been plenty of times where I'll say, oh, my rate is such and such. And people are like, that's crazy. How can you afford that? Well, how can you get that kind of rate? And it's like, well, that's what I've been making for this company, and that company. And I've run the gambit, working for small press guys to Marvel, DC. I've worked for every major. I work for every big company, and I work for small companies. And some of the best paid ones were people who were doing comics outside of the comic industry. So doing I worked for a toy company that had put comic books with their toys. And I did lettering on it, and that was the biggest rate I ever got for lettering, where it's like, I want to do more of those projects. So, but there have been times where I've told people my rate and they ran away. Or I even got editors that had told me, yeah, we wanted to hire you on this project, but we can't afford you. So it's like, all right, but talk to me. Maybe we can work something out, because if there's a $5 difference, depending on the project, that might not be that big of a deal. Yeah. So I try to talk to as many people and publishers that I can to get an idea what people are making for various stuff, because I've done coloring, lettering, inking, pre-press. What I'm making at one place, I might not be able to make at the other place, but I might be able to make it where it's like, oh, they pay really crappy for coloring, but they pay really well for lettering. And that happens sometimes. So it's like, all right, for this company, I'll do this type of work. For that company, I'll do something else. And it just happened to what, my career worked out where, at DC, I'm a letterer. At Marvel, I'm a colorist. And that's just how it worked out. And then for other small press companies, I'm their digital pre-press guy. And it ended up working out well that way. So I vary it. And it's just because I learned a little bit of everything at the same time. So again, I didn't think lettering would be the thing that I would be doing most of my career. But it just kind of worked out that way, where it's like, okay, because I'm doing really well lettering at this company, I could take a kind of a hit on coloring at that company just to keep the work flowing. But as I mentioned, I talk to as many people as I can to find out what is, the rate here, what's the rate. Because when I do the Section 8 books, we want to pay a page rate that's kind of competitive as best as possible. But the people we want to hire first, we usually hire people we worked with before in the past. Because we want to work with our friends in general. And then if we need to go outside of that group to look for more people, then we would do that. But the first group of people that I go to are the people that I know will get the work done and is willing to get the work done at a a reasonable rate, of course. So that's kind of how I look at it as both an artist and a publisher, where I would never want to lowball anybody, but I am upfront on what we can pay and what we do pay, but we talk to everybody to try to stay within, not only the competitive edge, but at the same time, we can pay this. That's what we plan to pay and go on from there.
All right, cool. Champe, what are your thoughts?
You told me to give shorter answers, and there's no way to answer this shortly, because first of all, I don't live in the United States. I live in Colombia. We don't have an industry here. Right. Every time somebody tries to suggest a fee here in Colombia, we are out loud, because nobody's going to pay you that unless you work for the United States. It's more doable there. But then there's the thing that I'm not the guy to say this because I'm so bad at mathematics, but what I usually say is, do the fucking mathematics. What I mean by that, what is an hour worth of your time? And nobody knows how to answer that. So how to answer that? How much are you paying for rent? How much do you spend monthly for transport, for eating, for personal hygiene, for your hobbies, subscriptions you have? put all that, sum it up, and divide it first of all for 26 days that you work, and that divided again for 9 hours you are supposed to be working. I don't know if in the United States working 9 hours is profitable or labor abuse. I don't know. Here in Colombia, 9 hours is the least you can do to be successful. So divided by 9. I'm gonna do that math right now. For instance, my hour of work here in Colombia costs 15,000 pesos. I'm gonna tell you right now how is that word in dollars, so you can.
Champe, don't give out those numbers because Jay's gonna start saying he's overpaying you.
I'm not.
He's gonna start lowballing you, bro. You can't give out those numbers like that, man.
Do you want to know 15,000 pesos? My out of work means $3. That's ridiculous for you. But wait. I'm talking about an uneducated person, because if you have paid for your studies, then you have to know how much have you spent on your education, and you want to get that investment back in half the time. So if you studied 5 years, you want to recover that money in 2 years and a half. So how much did you spend in your education divided by however days is 2 years and a half, and get those numbers into this. Maybe it's not $3, the what you need, maybe it's $10, the minimum. If you ask for better fees, then go ahead. I guess I'm getting
and that's by the hour though. So like, how many hours does it take you to finish a page?
That's the thing. Thank you very much. You have to be morally honest with yourself, because can you make a page in 9 hours? Because that's what you are going to be asking. So you have to know how fast are you to know how to charge for all those things.
Gotcha. They should have recorded Jack Kirby, because that man was doing like what, a book a week?
Three books a month.
3 books a month?
4 pages a day.
Yeah. I mean, they should just record. They should have recorded that. Because could you imagine how fast that dude, his pencil was moving?
I would just I wanted to just see how he worked, because the legend is he would start on the left side of the page and just work straight down and get it all done.
That's a man who knew who understood workflow. That's what it comes down to. It's a man who knew what he needed to lay down first before he laid down the next part.
Yeah. So, see, what are your thoughts on the question?
Wait, what question? We had a question.
Okay,
how I would help somebody steer as far as rates are concerned. Of course, it would be shop around.
Right.
Is that was the question, right?
Yeah, the rates. Yeah, how to create your rate.
Well, it was kind of like, if you see somebody, if it's a bad rate for somebody.
Right. Like what's an egregious rate and how to avoid it?
Right. Of course, it always depends on the artist, right? But I've seen people pay a lot of money for some stuff that's not really good at all. So
yeah,
I would definitely.
Yeah, but that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
is to get paid really well for crappy work.
Yeah,
Pregnant Sonic pays the most.
I think if I was, how would I don't know really how to instruct somebody on that, because it was just it's the same thing as if you were shopping around for a better deal somewhere, right? You could get this from say Dollar Tree, versus getting it from Walmart, which will be more expensive, but it will probably last longer from Walmart than it would from Dollar Tree. So with artists, it's the same way. It's like, okay, I could get this type of art from this person for so much for a page. That's all I can really say. Honestly, I have really no answer to this other than shop around and do some research. Please, but also don't approach an artist who has a realistic style and ask them to do Archie comics, right? And vice versa. Make sure that you research what that person does. before you approach them.
That's why I said earlier that that's
Yeah.
one of the things I do is look at their Instagrams and their Twitters and their Facebooks to see what they're doing, to see if that's what I want. Now, for my answer to the question is I ask them their rate. They give me a rate. And then Atrocity Press has a maximum rate that we will pay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be like, if it's higher than our actual maximum rate, I'll be like, hey, our maximum rate for pencils is X. You know, so you can either take that or we could just, you know, end the negotiations now because we're not going to come to a head here. So, you know, or, you know, we pay X amount for inking or we pay X amount for colors. So some people will take it, some people won't take it. It just depends on who they are or where they live. There's a lot of the what matters is where they're from.
Yeah.
Is if they'll take the deal or not. You know, I mean, we don't pay peanuts or anything. We do pretty well, but I mean, some of these guys come out here and they expect $200 for page rates and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, you're just not. A, you're not worth $200, and B, just because you live in America doesn't mean you get a $200 page rate. I mean,
and that's the thing too. Like, okay, let's say that that their artwork is phenomenal, and they want a $200 page rate, but the problem is you're not known. Right. So you're no matter how phenomenal your artwork is, you still have to bring somebody to the table. And that's another thing that you have to take into consideration, right? Is like, okay, I could bring this fantastic artist, but if nobody knows them, now I'm shouldering their popularity. I'm shouldering them to begin to know. And in order for you to make up for the $200 that they're charging, you've got to, you know, you're pushing more than you have to.
Yeah,
you know?
You got to do a lot more work instead of kind of relying on their fans to come over and buy your book.
Well, if they're asking you for $200 a page,
they better be.
If they're asking for the prima donna package contract, are they going to kick in the prima donna following work to generate sales for that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's I love to when somebody hires me, you're not paying me to promote, but I do. Because here's the thing. If you make it, if you're successful, I'm successful because guess what? People are going to see me when they see you. That's how I look at that. But there's people out there asking $200 for stuff that's like, I wouldn't even, you know, put it up on my fridge if my 2-year-old gave it to me. That's how.
Yeah, I mean, there's random. I mean, the gamut of page rates I've seen and the ability and skill of the artist has varied completely. I mean, a lot of people are like, there needs to be a standardized page rate and everyone needs to be in a union and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that would never work.
No.
It would never work.
Well, that shows you they don't know what they're talking about because in the United States, freelancers cannot be in a union legally. They could be in a guild.
Yep.
But they cannot be in a union. So if they hit you with that right from the beginning, there you have no foundation to continue the argument whatsoever. The discussion.
Well, I'm just saying a lot of people say that shit, that there needs to be a standardized page rate and everyone needs to be getting paid $150 for pencils or something. And I'm just like, no, they don't.
But you see, but you also sometimes, you have your page rates, but sometimes you also approached by somebody that you know is in the community that's going to get a book out, that's going to do that. Or I'm not one for jumping on and collaborating with somebody right away just because they have an idea. But I will with somebody that I know for a fact will put in as much work into it as I will.
Oh, yeah.
Going to profit from it some other way. So I don't want to try to be too hard on, I got to have this page rate for every time because it is going to depend on the person.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of, we hire a lot of new guys at Atrocity Press. We like to give a lot of new artists a shot. You know, we look for people that we think are good and have a good imagination. We want to hire artists for their creativity, not just for their skill.
Right.
Right.
You know, I want your creativity. We can foster your skill. Atrocity Press has the Artist Improvement Program, and we send people to the Rishundo studio for classes. We have every year we have Alzir Alves from the Rishundo studio. He's the director there. We have him do portfolio reviews of everybody, and he'll rip them
Okay.
apart. I mean,
Yeah, I heard you say that this morning.
Which
Yeah.
they
You talked
should.
about that this morning. Yeah.
They absolutely
Guys,
should.
I'm seeing right now a YouTube video I found out a couple weeks ago. It is called "Making Money in Comics" by John Ripa 59. In that video, I'm gonna give you the link later. He's telling the newbies, the newcomers, that they should ask for $100 for coloring a page, and that's
Oh
one
gosh.
for the
Wow.
newcomer, and it doesn't matter if you're an indie or whatever. I mean, that's the kind of how do you say consejo in English? The advice he's giving to the newcomers.
Yeah, that's
right.
that goes right into the cliche stuff that I was talking about
Mhm.
earlier. That's that
Yeah.
kind of train of thought. And
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
And the
give
thing
you.
is Marvel and DC aren't even paying those rates anymore.
No,
Yeah.
they're
Who's
not.
paying those rates anymore?
They
They're
Nobody's
never
paying
paid
those
those rates.
Do you know what Marvel's starting rate for a new penciler is?
I heard it was
Last
75.
I heard was 80.
Yep.
$75.
So it went down since I last was told. Because I had
Yep.
I used to keep a list. Do I still have it? I used to keep a sticky of everybody's rates for Marvel and DC and stuff like that. So whenever I ask for a rate, I know what the competitive rate is. I don't have it anymore, but I used to have it up here, and I had it. Marvel's starting rate was 80, and that had to be at least a decade ago. The last time I
Yeah.
think I
Alright.
wrote it down.
All right, guys, it's getting a little late, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. So, gentlemen, this was awesome. Thank you so much, David. This was great. Wilson, thank you. Champe, fantastic. C, fantastic as always. Jay, you the man. You know it. Max, thank you for stepping in for.
Always good to be here. I mean, it sucks that we had to like step in for Pete, but hey, he'll be getting better.
Hopefully he's better. Hopefully he gets better, man. Knock on wood.
He's got his intravenous antibiotics going, so he should be fine.
Don't worry about it. Like, this is the first one of these. I'm gonna do another one of these. Hopefully in the next couple of months, where it's just gonna be all artists, and then we can just talk about these issues, because I think it's interesting. It's not like we usually just talk about the business of comics and that. And this is part of the business, but this is a part of the business I think we need to sometimes focus on and hear what the artists have to say. And I think that's important. So,
For sure.
Max, please let us know where they can find you and your work, sir.
You can find me at atrocitypress.com. It's got all our social media links to like our Facebook group and our Twitter profile and our YouTube page. It's got all of our news up there a week before it hits social media. So make sure you drop by there to check out everything that's new that's happening. And it's also got our shop where you can pick up all of our books digitally or physically. Well, the ones that are available.
Nice. David?
Oh, so actually I have a couple of things with Kickstarter right now. Austin Janowski, we have Zombies Were Human 2, Volume 3. I believe I have like 10 pages in that, plus some like art on the side as well. And Ryan Cummins has She Brings the Devil 2. I believe he's got like 2 days left on that. And then right after that finishes, we're doing Reina Bastard Queen, same guy, Ryan. And then on January, we have Elite Warriors with Mally Simpson. So, and there might even be more between then and there. We're always like coming out with new stuff. So I might have more like next month.
Okay, cool. I mean, you should send me some of the links to some of those people. I can bring them on the show,
Yeah,
so they can
absolutely
help them sell some books. Nice. Wilson, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Okay, so section8comics.com is where our books are published. And then everywhere else on social media, you could catch me in the drift under Ramos Comics on all across social media. I basically have that main name.
Cool. Champe?
Well, you can always find me Facebook. That's the main thing where to find me. Throughout Jay, let's use nepotism here, and he's gonna suggest me all of the way because you gotta remember.
No, no.
You gotta remember that I'm a
Did
boomer.
you do that to him? You did that to him?
I did not do that to him.
That was definitely.
Oh man.
You was talking about me, bro.
He was gonna tell us the meaning of life.
You know what I'm saying? I want to hear secrets.
That was all definitely.
Oh.
Hey,
You fucked
Champe,
up,
next time.
Fucked up.
See, where can they find you, sir?
As always, you can check me out at lanningart.com. That has my portfolio. It does have my page rates. But you know, also,
what was that website address again, Lanning?
it was LANNING art.com.
That's my motherfucking man right there, baby.
And of
That's
course,
my
on
fucking
Saturday
man.
nights, right here at IndyComicsNetwork.com, we do Art Style Kamikaze, where I pick some kind of art style and I'll try to relate it to comics, because if I don't, I'll have JD Calderon in the chat giving me a hard time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
So
I'll give you a hard time anyway. Jay, where can they find you?
You can find me at Linktree with Fuck that Linktree bullshit. You can find me on unstoppablecomics.com, folks. You can find all of our social media links there on the website itself, unstoppablecomics.com. And for the next 2 weeks, we are still live. New York versus the World issues 1 through 3 are available on Kickstarter. And, not only can you get the books, but you can get a nice little, we get the enamel pin just like this. I love that enamel pin. I'm loving it. And a few other things up in there, folks.
All right. Normally, I don't like anything he does, but that pin is nice.
Yeah, man.
And him talking like Super Mario really sold it. It's really nice.
It's nice. It is.
Mama Mario.
You play like Lou Ferrigno or Lou Albano. That Mario.
Oh, remember that?
I like the Lou Ferrigno one though.
Yeah.
I did. Oh,
You do drugs, you go to hell and you die.
Nice. So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all under JD Calderon here most Sunday nights. And that's pretty much it. And pretty soon you'll see the Oswald Chronicles back on Kickstarter and the OswaldChronicles.com and TallTalesOnline.com. And just remember, everybody, all of these artists you see here, their links are in the show notes. Go check them out. They're all working artists. If you need stuff, contact them, but be ready to have money. Cash in hand, folks. Cash in hand. These people do not work for free. They need you. They need money. You understand? You're going to want to make money off of this stuff, right? And they need to get paid. And that's how that works, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yep.
Like I said, and for Max and Jay and anybody else who has a campaign, hit those links, buy those books. And just remember, everybody, buy more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night.
All right.